Okay, here's some problems from 4.6. Some more problems, I should say. And this is number 5. We want to graph this, show 2 periods. Okay. Graph 2 periods of the given tangent function. So the scales have changed a little bit depending on the period. This was the function 3 tangent of 1/4 x. Well, it was 3 tangent of x over 4, so I just wrote it like this so we could see what the b is. Now remember the period, since the tangent of the period is pi, the period is going to be pi over b. In this case, b was 1/4, so that's going to be pi over 1/4, which makes the period 4 pi. Now, remember before my period was pi, so I went pi over 2 on one side, pi over 2 on the other side. So since my period is 4 pi, I'm going to go 2 pi on one side, 2 pi on the other side to get my asymptotes. So my asymptotes are going to be, and my 0 point is still 0. That's not going to change from my first graph of the function. So these will be my 2 periods, so I'll use kind of a ruler here to draw the asymptotes. There's one there, and there's another one here. Okay, and then we can check the middle point now. This is the point in between. The 0 point and the asymptote is going to give me normally my 1. That was normally pi over 4, but in this case it's pi. So we could take a look and we could put pi in here just to check this, and the 3 times the tangent, and this would be pi over 4 is just 3. So at this point my value would be 3, so I could put it right there. I could use the table of values, or I could just mark it like that. And in the same respect, if I took negative pi, I would have negative pi over 4, which is negative 3, so that would be down here. And I drew this kind of to scale so you could kind of see. So this is about what your curve is going to look like. It's going to go through these points. It's going to be asymptotic to these lines, so it's going to come like this. Come up here, go through the center, and up like this. And it's relatively to a good scale. Now we want to draw 2 periods of that, so I'll draw another one. So I've got to go, this was actually 4 pi, so this is 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, so that's my other one. So I'll use a ruler to get a relatively straight, I guess, asymptote. There we go. And then again, the same idea. There's my 0 in the center. And this one will be at the 3 point, which is a little bit above. There we go. And this one was over here. And there's my second period. Try to match it up so it's parallel. That would be kind of nice. And there you go. That looks pretty good, if I say so myself. All right. Let's try number 7. Here's number 7. I'm going to do it over here. And this was the y equals 1/2 the tangent of 2x. Y equals 1/2 the tangent of 2x. So remember my period is equal to pi over b. In this case, the b is 2, so pi over 2, so that's my period 2 pi. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of separate it. Remember, 2 pi, half of 2 pi is pi over 4, so I'll go pi over 4 for both sides. I expanded the scale. Also made my 1 a little bit, expanded my vertical scale also, so it's relatively close to scale. And that's what we've got. And then again, I'll draw my asymptotes. Now the spread on the asymptotes are going to look about the same because of the scale. I've changed it so you can see it a little bit better. I don't want to keep it at the same scale, otherwise it'd be really, really teeny. Don't want to do that. So keep in mind that we've got a new scale here. And again, this is my 0. Now the point in between is these are the points that are normally 1 on our tangent. So this is going to be what? This is going to be pi over 8, right? So this is pi over 8. But watch what happens when I put this pi over 8 or negative pi over 8 in. If I take 1/2 the tangent of 2 times pi over 8, that's the same thing as 1/2 the tangent, and that's the same thing as pi over 4. So this point will always be equivalent to the pi over 4 point that we use, and the tangent of pi over 4 is 1, except I've got 1/2 of that, so I'm going to be at 1/2, and there's 1, so there's 1/2. And in the same respect, this will be negative 1/2, and at negative pi over 8, it'll be negative 1/2, so there's your guide points that we use, and we go like this. Now, because I changed the scale, it looks very similar to this one up on the top, because but I changed my scale, so that's why. So as long as you have everything marked, that makes sense. So we want another pi over 2, period. So that's 2 pi over 4s. Pi over 4, 2 pi over 3, pi over 4, so that gives me over here, so I'll draw a line over here. And if we had a pre-given scale, you might be able to appreciate these a little bit better. But I would have had to make this really big so you could see the pi over 4. That's the difference, especially if you have to draw 2 periods. If it was just 1 period, I could have maybe done it a little differently. So these are my checkpoints are right in between the 0 and the asymptotes. And this checkpoint was going to be the 1/2. That's going to be the negative 1/2. So there we go. There you go. So that's number 7. Okay. So there's 5 and 7, and it's always nice to do your asymptotes in different colors if you can, so they kind of stand out. Okay, so I hope those help.